clinical psychologist and body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of Maya Kowalski. Maya Kowalski and her family are currently suing Johns Hopkins Hospital for over $200 million for a variety of reasons. Many of the claims center around her diagnosis and treatment of CRPS. What we're going to be talking about today is Maya Kowalski's testimony. We're going to be looking at her behavior and her body language. But before we get started, I wanted to remind you of a couple of things. One is this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. I'm providing feedback and opinions based on publicly available information. On top of that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. So one of the reasons I decided to do this is that after I watched your testimony, I thought about the fact that I have so many people saying, would you just do a video of somebody showing honest body language or authentic body language? Because so many people that I cover are deceptive or show dishonest body language or show aggressive body language or whatever it is. So I thought today we were going to look at somebody who is demonstrating honest and authentic body language. Let's just jump right in.
Do you remember the why of going there that day, that morning?
October 7th?
The 7th.
Okay. Yes, so I was in excruciating pain, and this time my stomach was also, it was awful.
All right, now this was a very authentic response. So I talk about when we close our eyes when we talk about things that we don't like. So when she's talking about something being awful, her eyes close at the same time. When she's saying it, her face, everything works in unison. And we oftentimes see when people are being deceptive, they struggle to keep all of those parts together. Let's watch that again.
And this time my stomach was also, it was
So this is somebody who's recalling something visceral.
awful. I was complaining, my knees were up to my chest.
Yellow light fools. If anybody's watching,
And,
here we go.
So it was your father, not
Yes.
your mother, that took you.
and then the week prior, my dad also took me in.
Anybody watching?
Something. When you would go back
Anybody,
to
yo,
Johns
yo.
Hopkins or any of the doctors
5
there,
minutos.
were they
5
immediately
minutos.
aware of the history, or did your dad or mom have to explain it every time?
Yeah, some good shit, people.
Actually, yeah, my parents always had to re-explain my history of CRPS.
From what you saw, was this frustrating for your family that your mom and dad have to explain the same thing every time you come in?
Most definitely.
So
right now she's answering things in clear and concise ways. There's nothing that the jury is going to be seeing in her that's going to make them feel like she's being deceptive. I talk about in another video problems that juries may have with certain behaviors. And so far, everything that Maya is saying, I think is going to resonate with people as they watch it.
you come in and your dad gives the summary of, or describes your history. What do you recall after that?
I remember just being in the ER, but I wasn't in the ER.
Nobody's
for
in the
too
room
long.
yet.
I remember I was transferred to the
Crazy.
So I talk oftentimes about people licking their lips when they start feeling anxious. And as she's talking about the hospital, watch this with me.
Summary of, or describes your history. What do you recall after that?
Maybe soon.
I remember just being in the ER, but I wasn't in the ER for too long. I remember I was transferred to the PICU.
And up to that point, while you're in the ER and up to the certain event, were you in pain? Were you calm? Were you active? What was your outward manifest?
I was actively in pain, yes.
So you can see her blink rate is picking up. She's licking her lips. She is showing the signs of somebody who's feeling stressed, who seems to be reacting to that.
0,
Just like
0.
Watch this part again.
0, 0. Let's see if it gets any better.
I was actively in pain, yes.
Were you thrashing or acting out in any way at that point?
At that point, no.
So they took you up to the
Okay.
and tell the jury what happened there.
Let's see what happens.
When I was transferred to the PICU, I remember my mom came in at some point. The nurses and doctors wanted to put a tube down my nose. And with CRPS, a blood pressure cuff, that hurts. So imagine, like a tube being shoved down your nose.
So as she's saying this, watch her eyebrows right there.
That hurts. So imagine, like a tube being shoved down your nose.
Now, she raises her eyebrows a little bit because that's the point when she wants to bring attention to her face. She wants you to hear this. And her eyebrows also show sadness. Thinking about the idea of going through that much pain genuinely makes her sad. So we're seeing somebody who is authentically and genuinely reacting to fear about the human experience. So this seems very legitimate and very real to me.
Into your stomach, and obviously
My
that would
state.
have caused so much pain. And I
I can't tell him my
Once
state.
again, there's those eyes closed. Watch.
obviously that would have caused so
And
much pain.
I don't know.
That type of emphasis, eyes closed, all of it, it works together in
It's
concert.
like people
This
might
is
be
something
typing
like
something.
thinking about how it one of the things I talk about a lot in shows is performance.
Can't read it.
You can identify
I'm not gonna believe you can read it to me. See what it says. See what it says. See what it says.
My body.
See what it says. What does it say? I don't know. Don't know. What does it say?
When it's natural, it happens while we're talking about it. When it's unnatural, we have to do it after.
I have no idea.
I'm not okay with this.
Can't get
Watch
it
this
up.
right here.
Don't know.
Tolerate that.
Right?
Get
Let's
this
not
up.
be able to tolerate that. That is
I
very
don't
much an
know.
authentic response to what she
Nothing
did.
in here can come up.
That is the
I don't
time
know.
I
We're gonna
asked
have
for
to
sedation.
wait.
I didn't just
What
randomly
happens?
yell out, I need sedation,
I
like
don't know.
depicted in the medical records. I only asked for sedation when they wanted to do the procedure.
So this is something that probably frustrates her. Watch. See her eyebrows right here? Listen to what she's saying.
Just randomly yell out, I need sedation, like
She seems to be very authentically responding to some frustration and anger that someone may have claimed that she was asking for things that she didn't.
depicted in the medical records. I only asked for sedation when they wanted to do that procedure.
And then, were you given sedation before they tried to put this tube down your nose?
I was not, and my mom was actually in the room, and she listened to the doctors and didn't demand for sedation. Instead, about I would say 2 or 3 people held me down and tried to get the tube down my nose. That is when I was screaming, crying, and thrashing around. I did not curse. Staff, that is a lie.
So you hear the intensity in her voice as she's recalling this. This is not someone who's putting on a performance. It's not someone who's making claims of things that they're not actually feeling. The emotion seems very real. Her voice sounds pressured. She appears to be anxious and slightly irritated by these claims that have been made. So what we're hearing is a very natural and authentic emotional reaction to memories that she is experiencing as she's talking about this.
That is when I was screaming, crying, and thrashing around. I did not curse at any of the staff. That is a lie.
So when she said, I did not curse at any of the staff, she raised her eyebrows. She really wants people to hear that. It's important for her to clarify because she's saying that those claims have been made and that's absolutely not true. And the fact that she wants you to look at her while she's saying that really does emphasize that she wants people to see this. This is a moment that she's not trying to be deceptive. This really is something authentic for her.
Well, it was just like the upper body portion because they were trying to get the tube in my nose. So they were holding on my shoulders and just like my...
All right, now you see how much she's moving her hands right now. This is so visceral for her. She's actually reliving it a little bit, trying to guide people, showing them exactly what happened. We do oftentimes see this as a sign of honesty. Doesn't mean that every time somebody talks with their hands of being honest, but when people are recalling things and they can't help but put their hands in certain places and it seems natural, we oftentimes take that as something they feel very strongly about.
Later, I found out it was Sally Smith.
Did anyone from the hospital differentiate Sally Smith from any of the other doctors that you were seeing that day?
Absolutely not.
Did Dr. Smith explain her role in any way?
Never.
And did she question your dad, and I don't know about you, but did she question you or your dad about symptoms and history?
No, I do not recall that.
So if we're to think about the psychology of a jury watching this, she is answering questions very, very directly. There's nothing that she's showing that suggests that anything that she is saying is deceptive. Now, does that mean that she remembers things correctly? Not necessarily. People can remember things wrong. But the way that she's replying to these, this is exactly how she remembers it. I don't think that she's saying a single thing that she does not believe.
And did you subsequently find out who that was?
Later I found out it was Susan.
Did anyone from the hospital differentiate Sally Smith from any of the other doctors that you were seeing that day?
Absolutely not.
So I talk about this a little bit in another video, but I think it's important that I talk about this here. Basically, one of the things that's extremely important for psychologists, Dr. Smith is not a psychologist, she's an MD. She's different. However, as a psychologist, we have to provide what's called an informed consent. So it has to be able to consent to some kind of treatment or assessment that we are providing. Even if it's mandated, even if they are required by a court or whatever, to take this assessment or be evaluated.
What is it?
We have to tell them
What is it?
exactly what's going on. We are not allowed to see.
The last time I saw
Somebody
my mom,
else is in here with us.
I was
I
laying
don't
in
know
bed.
who. They're going on for a treat.
Did you
It's still in the PICU.
Still in the
Still in the PICU, yes.
So this is pretty close to when you checked in.
Yes, yes. I know I was still in the PICU. My mom was like picking up her work bag and just like little things she had brought to the hospital, and she said, "I love you and I'll see you tomorrow." And I never saw her again.
Need some water. I noticed you're wearing a necklace. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, so December 10th was my birthday. I turned 11, and I was unfortunately still in the hospital at the time. And the hospital has a program where they collect funds for children who are still in the hospital on their birthday. I was given $20 to spend. And I remember the social worker came in and she asked me what I'd like to buy. I bought a Nerf gun for my brother. I bought my mom a necklace, and then I bought my dad his favorite bag of mints because I didn't have a lot of money left over. But then my Aunt Wendy bought him this little glass Christmas tree, and he just said it was for me.
So I haven't been providing for the past minute or so much feedback about the body language because I think anybody can see this is a very real reaction. For those of us that watch a lot of true crime, for those of us that are involved in or watch a lot of trials, we see and hear a lot of tragedy. But there's something so unspeakably painful about hearing Maya talk about not knowing that was going to be the last time she saw her mother and the circumstances around this. To think about the impact, the psychology of a jury hearing this, I don't see how they're not going to find this exceedingly compelling, because it is hard not to feel moved and distraught by watching Maya talk about these things.
But I bought my mom this very specific necklace that says "I love you" to the moon and back. It's just like she always said that to me. And then I found out later that she wore it every single day, and when she was found in the garage, she was still wearing it. And I have it on my neck right now.
Have some water.
Sorry.
So part of the reason I'm showing this is not to make everybody deal with the excruciating pain of hearing Maya talk about this unspeakable tragedy. But one thing I want you to focus on also is that the attorney is saying, "Here, have some water." He is actually trying to get her to stop crying so that she can provide testimony. There's nothing about this as a performance. And part of the reason I point that out is I assume most people don't see it that way, but you never know, because I get all sorts of feedback and comments and videos. There's never a shortage of people surprising me about what they think and feel about these things. And I want to be very, very clear. There's nothing inauthentic about anything that we're seeing regarding Maya so far. Nothing.
Can we publish 2571-001? We're going to switch for a second to mine. Ask you about obvious symptoms at the time.
And just so you understand, giving somebody a tissue, giving them a water bottle, that actually does help people stop crying. That's one of the reasons in therapy we're oftentimes trained to don't hand somebody a tissue if they start crying, because that's signaling that, hey, would you stop doing that? So therapists still do that sometimes, but generally speaking, it is an effective way for people to rein in these kinds of emotions, and it's working for Maya right now. As tragic as everything she's talking about is.
I mean, I stayed there over 90 days, but I had way more than 3 rooms. And these rooms had surveillance cameras. And when I was placed in those rooms with the surveillance cameras, I was told that to not worry about them, they don't work.
So now, if we could, there's been allegations here that you were outside your room 95% of the time. Tell the jury whether that's true.
That's not true at all. Most of the time I was in my room. There were times where I went to PT, which I was outside my room, and there was a few occasions where I went to the rec room.
So you hear the way she's responding to this, and I hate to point this out because maybe it seems so obvious. You're asking her questions, and she is refuting things that have been claimed directly. She's saying, no, that's not true, and here are details. Contrast that with some of the other testimonies provided that sound very, very different. So one of the things that is powerful for a jury is when somebody is asked a question, they answer it. They say yes or they say no, that they are direct about exactly what happened and how they feel about it. And that is exactly what Maya's doing, which is going to play very, very powerfully to a jury.
But for, I would say, the majority of my time, I was kept in my room.
And did the rooms have the kids that were there, their names on the door or next to the door?
So at one point, I started to get wheeled out into the hallways and whatnot, and that's when I was going to PT or the rec room. And I noticed something really weird was that all the other rooms on the floor, they had name tags. It would say the patient's name and...
So look at this expression right here.
And I noticed something really weird.
So that is something that genuinely concerned, confused, makes her angry. Oftentimes when we think about things we've been through, we start reacting to it as though we're there. So as she's talking about this, as she's thinking about this is a very real reaction you're seeing her have, talking about her name not being on the door.
Weird was that all the other rooms on the floor, they had name tags. It would say the patient's name and just the last initial. Whereas with mine, I just had a sheet of paper in there with color-coded stickers. I asked the nurses what the color corresponded to and what that meant and why I didn't have a name, and they would not tell me. I asked multiple nurses, and all of them said, I can't tell you.
So this goes back to that idea of informed consent. Because she was a minor, that does complicate what she isn't going to give information on what she asked. So, but a parent always should. So once again, when people ask me about something, technology or what's related to evaluation, if it's something that I can't tell them how to do,
Nobody in.
say,
Nobody in. Okay. Well, keep a looking.
So her reaction to this is
Keep a looking.
felt very dehumanizing.
The beer. A Miller Genuine
Let's play
Draft beer. It should be trippy for anybody who wants to come in. Is there someone in? Is there someone in? Someone in? Someone in?
It's so confusing to me why they wouldn't allow them to discuss this.
1, 2, 2, 3.
Involved in lots of parental fitness evaluations.
I don't know how this works.
Related to children that are separated from their families. So this is all very familiar to me.
I'll say some people might be watching.
How's
How's it going?
Very peculiar. I really have a hard time understanding the logic there. There's so much more we can go over with Maya's testimony that would also make for a very, very long video. Hopefully this is giving you some understanding.
It's gonna be a trippy video for everybody watching. If you're watching, I can't tell. Can't tell. Leave a comment if you're listening. If you're watching, so that I know what you're watching. Leave a comment if you're watching. If you're listening, it'd be really cool. Tell me where you are. That'd be great. Yeah. Do something with these. I don't know what these are.
It's okay to respond to questions. It's forward to re-engage.
Can't tell, so I'm just gonna have to go back to the way I was.
So now she's rubbing her lips with her finger. At least that's
So
what it
let's
appears.
see if more
And
coming.
our lips have a lot of nerves, so when we touch our lips, it calms us down. So even though she appears to be in a very calm state, even though she appears to be sort of Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and body language.
Good. see what happens.
She was like, and then we were like, no. Taco Bell. Did we invent crispy chicken? Nah. Just put it where it belongs, inside burritos and tacos, honestly. Extra saucy. Taste up. Look at that. Overachieving? Sure, if you ask for it. No, but we did it anyway. Crispy chicken from Taco Bell. A brand new classic. You're welcome.
Racetrack to right. Mobile 1 towards Mokoteni Drive.
I was a working girl, workers on escort girl, former adult film star,
I'm a sex trade survivor.
I could talk to my 11-year-old.
It's gonna be lit in a minute, people. It's gonna be lit. Seek, find balls. Drag. Yeah. Drag roast. Here we go. Watch a drag roast, everybody. See what we see.
Battling out on the Knockout Show. A night of glamour versus rock and roll, contract, area, live performances of the official music. Get your tickets now.
On some night, Babbitt's bowling, wind behind the phone. Wind like this, full of voices, ancestry, howling at you, different stories, all voices tied up into one.
People are in watching this shit.
Now you're up close.
Very, very interesting.
First time we met. Eye to eye.
So what is everybody up to? What is everybody doing? Anybody want to say anything? Or what's going on?
Question 1. What
Suggestions?
secret in 6 mystery
What could go
would be
on?
worth killing you for?
Let me see if I can find some of my own. Here, put it back on the TV. Find out what I want to look at. I'll figure it out. Just take a minute.
Question 2. Is it reasonable to believe that they would kill again to protect that secret? And if so, question 3. What the heck am I doing here?
While my extensive experience as an editor has led me to a disdain for flashbacks and flash forwards and all such tricksy gimmicks, I believe that if you, dear reader, can extend your patience for just a moment, you will find there is a method to this tale of madness.
My dearest Sixpence, I shot myself through the roof of my mouth this morning with Vivian Ayres Luger. A true suicide is a paced, disciplined certainty. People pontificate. Suicide is a coward's act. couldn't be further from the truth. It takes tremendous courage.
Any problem, sir? You just hit this button.
Thank you. On behalf of my ministry and the future of humanity, I'd like to thank you for this interview.
Hello. Trespass.
Expecting trouble?
I was going the shrink was a strongter, and the bloody truth is, I had no idea what the man was going to do that night.
This beach was once a cannibal's banqueting hall, where the strong gorged on the weak, but the teeth, sir, they spat out like you or I would expel a cherry stone. You know the price a quarter pound of these will earn?
Truth, I see it. It's versions of mistruth.
Don't let them say I killed myself for love. Had my infatuations, but we both know in our hearts who is the sole lover of my short, bright life.
There you are, Mr. Ewing.
Outside the problem.
Thank you, Reverend Martha. No, my father was the family side of this team.
Pastor Ward is a great man. Future generations that come down that right and capable of speaking the truth.
Right.
When I first encountered Pastor Ward's life, its perspicuity struck me as though delivered through the divine revelation. The learned doctor here and I have already spent many a night debating towards practice.
I'm only willing to concede that he makes a compelling case as to why we are sitting here, enjoying this divine lamp, while Kupaka stands there, content to